Welcome to the first annual Foundations meeting. Thank you very much for being so many people here in person. And we also have about 200 people connecting from all over the world, including Asia. So that's great because it's quite late for you guys. Thank you very much for being with us. I'm Cristina Balanos and I'm delighted to be your host for this event. This is a special day. This is a special event. And this is actually an event for you, for the people who are engaged in this foundation, and also the ones who were curious actually to know more, because after this 10th anniversary of the foundation, you expressed the need to know more about the foundation, and that's why we decided, the team decided actually to create this event for you to know more. And we want also to pay a tribute to all the people, all the members that are engaged in the foundations, because you imagine that they're not going to come on stage now, otherwise we could spend the night together. But we will, from every edition, we will have actually to highlight all the actions that are made every year here. And I'd like also to tell you that we have a special guest to introduce this special day, this special event. Please welcome a member of the Executive Committee and Head of Infrastructure, Matthias Burgert.
So, hello everyone. Welcome to the to the Ardian Foundation Day, and good evening. I'm replacing Dominique. She really wanted to be here with you. You know how much she cherishes Ardian Foundation and how much she's keen on philanthropy. But for personal reasons, she cannot make it. So, in her name, I was just to send you her really strong and more warm thoughts. So our foundation has made a long journey since the start 12 years ago. Let me remind you what were the roots of Ardian Foundation. It is born with the observation of existing and growing inequalities, and the conviction that our success should be translated into more positive outcome for others. To reduce inequalities, we know that education is key. So at Ardian, you have decided to focus on the youngest and more vulnerable people. To give back our great success, we need to, and we can obviously give money, but we also can give time and the best of us, our expertise. All of us can help in many different ways, either through charities partners or directly to beneficiaries. The Ardian Foundation is not an instrument for marketing or communication. It's real, it's sincere. And the best guarantee is that Ardian people incarnate the foundation and drive to give back. But how actually can we achieve that? First of all, you have a board which has autonomy and leadership of their members. That's key. Without leadership of your board, there will be no success and no autonomy. Something which, as you know me, because I'm also in charge of technology, is I really think that something that was a game changer is Click and Give. This digital tool is a remarkable initiative that enables Ardian Foundation to have a bottom-up approach and not only a top-down approach when selecting this project we support. Obviously, this is very good for the foundation. Everyone feels that his own, I would say, objective, his own thing which really are close to his heart are taken into consideration. But also is good for Ardian. It's an element of cohesion which shape our culture. There is indeed different ways to play a role and positively impact society. First, by supporting existing charities in their day-to-day action, but also by raising awareness and sharing insight among opinion leaders, policymakers, and media. But let's be a little bit more concrete and give the example of the early childhood issue, which illustrates the approach of the Ardian Foundation. The curative approach is by working with partner charities to address existing inequalities, both by funding their activities and probably even more importantly, by donating your time and your expertise to strengthen their own organization. But there is also another approach, which is the preventive approach, which also is very close to my heart, is to limit poor outcome by supporting academic research into education policy and social mobility at the Paris School of Economics, by encouraging a wider engagement in early childhood issues by experts across a range of disciplines. Advocacy is more important when acting for early childhood, given that in that field there's been very limited research and it has been disregarded as an important topic for societies. In this context, Dominique participated, as you may know, in the panel organized by the Paris School of Economics last May to discuss early childhood and social mobility with organizations working directly with the families we aim helping, such as National Family Allowance Fund, the French Ministry of Health and Solidarity, and also other experts. However, other pillars of education remain important for the foundation, namely primary and secondary education, because social mobility requires a continuous effort all along the child life. And maybe that's enabled me to illustrate a personal experience. I have recently joined the board of our new partner charity, Alliance pour l'Éducation, United Way. And this charity focuses on middle school children in what we call in France priority neighborhoods, where access to high quality education resources is limited. And it's not only that, it's also areas where there is violence, there is less opportunities, and there's absolute priority for all of us. But there is also areas where there is a lot of talent, also a lot of energy, and it's not only the interest of the people living there, it's our own interest if we want to change society, to have those people with us because they have a lot of energy to bring in our society, which sometimes is a little bit too sclerosé. I joined that board, this association has an innovative model, which is to create a link between what those schools where those children are and needs, and also the companies, the firms, and the economy. So this charity offers a workshop which focus on hard skills which are needed by children, which are CV writing, interviewing, but also very importantly soft skills, public speaking, time management. What I think is very important is to break the ice between the population in those areas, particularly the children, and the firm, to break basically the prejudice on both sides. When you come from areas where are less favored, you just say it's not for me. I cannot make it. I will never make it. And for personal reason, I am part of, or my wife is part of another organization. And the only fact that they discover our world and see that we are the same human being, we have the same ways to behave, that we are not different, we just benefited maybe by a better education, that give them a lot of self consciousness and ambition. So I think that's extremely important for them, because that gives them self-confidence, that see there is no limit, but also for us, because I can tell you that one of the main objectives of the members of this foundation is that the employees wants to be part of this role. I see Anna that confirms they want to be, they feel that they are doing something right, and that creates a lot of cohesion. I'm talking about very large corporates in France, and for them it's very important towards their own employees. So, as always, been a little bit long, but I want to thank you for all your, I want to thank you all, sorry, for your strong and continuous commitment to our Ardian Foundation since 12 years. And I encourage everyone who did not have the chance to participate until now to join this wonderful and rewarding experience. Thank you very much, Katarina.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Matthias Burgat, for this great introduction, very enthusiastic and inspiring. So now let's talk about this special day today, and to talk about this purpose of this day, please welcome the president of Ardian's Foundation, Carole Barnet.
Thank you, Christina. Thank you all for being here. Yes, we thought that having this annual rendezvous with all Ardian employees would really be the opportunity to give you more visibility on what we do, and also the opportunity to meet together, discuss philanthropy, answer your questions, and share your feedback, also for us to understand how we can improve ourselves to help you to grow your engagement. Why? Because the foundation is yours and has two reasons to be. First, our beneficiaries. Second, your engagement. So it will be impossible today to report on all the achievements made through the foundation this year, notably through the 49 charities. We reached out to more than 520,000 beneficiaries. So we'll focus today only on hottest topic, and for next time, we will rotate to ensure that everyone acting within the foundation has a voice. Importantly, we also wanted this presentation to be human-oriented. Therefore, we won't bother you with a lot of detailed information. Adia has prepared an internal annual report full of content about all our actions, strategy, organization, financials. So you can have it on SharePoint. She will send you the link, and please go and see if you are interested. So I now have 10 minutes to report on where we stand today, how we upgraded the organization this year, and what is our ambition for next year. Starting with the 4 pillars, they are our identity and also our priorities. First, our goal since day one, as Matthias said, is social mobility that we want to target in the most effective way through education, because this is the lever that is impactful, and also targeting, of course, the most underprivileged population. 1 year ago, we decided to start from the youngest age, and a significant part of our budget will be now dedicated to early childhood. And in this field, Lynn and Geraldine will tell you more. The second pillar is what we want to do, the approach we want to have, which is venture philanthropy. Why? Because we want to build a portfolio charity program by understanding what are the pain points in the society, select and source the charities that are the most impactful, and give money, but not only, also skills, which is very important given we are very well positioned in this field. Third pillar is you. We want to federate and engage all of you. We wish Ardian Foundation could be at the heart of Ardian culture and philosophy. Last pillar is the long-term vision. We want to target a systemic impact. It means that we need to raise awareness, to build partnership, to join forces with others, to ensure that we can achieve real transformation, especially in early childhood in our society. So you may suspect that this is very ambitious, but you're right. You know, we think Ardian Foundation is well positioned to take that dimension because the budget, which is 3 million today, is expected to grow up to 10 million in less than 10 years, thanks to the carried interest contribution for the Ardian fund, from the Ardian fund. So this is a good justification to define such an ambition.
Well, that's quite ambitious, as you said, actually. So how is the team going to get organized so that you achieve those goals?
Yes, to serve this ambition, I'm very proud to announce that we now have 3 dedicated professionals within the foundation to take the foundation to the next level. If I start with Adia, I'm sure everyone knows Adia. She carries the foundation since almost the beginning. She is managing all the employees' engagement. She also works in partnership with Justine, and they will together report you on the developments they made on employees' engagement this year. After Anna joined 2 years ago. She manages the entire charity program. She is responsible of managing the charities at every step from sourcing to monitoring, and she works hand in hand with the project managers. Then third, surprise, I'm very happy to introduce you to Kenza. Kenza will join in a few days. This is why you don't know her yet. She will be responsible for the communication of all the philanthropic type of communication of the foundation, internally, externally. She will report to Stéphanie Grasse. And her mission will be impactful because, as you know, communication is a powerful tool to advocate, to raise awareness in favor of most disadvantaged humans. So, Kenza, would you like to come and present yourself? Thank you.
Here. Hello, everyone. Thank you, Carol, for giving me the opportunity to introduce myself. So I'm very honored to be here and to join the great team at the Foundation. My name is Kenza. I have been working in the field of communications for 15 years. And until a few days ago, I was a media relations manager for Generali France and a communications manager for the Generalis Foundation. I'm delighted to join Ardian to pursue a full-time career in philanthropy. And I look forward to working with all of you on the foundation reputation and image. And I have to say that I'm quite impressive about what has been done. You've created the foundation with a lot of passion and energy. So keep going. Thank you.
A huge welcome. Thank you, Kenza. So, without transition, I spoke about the growing budget. So, to cover now what we did to upgrade our organization, first we saw 2 needs: the need to professionalize our due diligence and decision-making process. In this field, we set up tools and methods. We also hired a network of experts, and I can see Eugène Henry among them. And finally, we welcomed 3 new external board members that are impressive experts that are here to advise us, challenge us, and support, in the end, our decision, hopefully. Starting with Coralie. Coralie Chevalier is a neurocognitive scientist. She's a specialist in social mobility through the neuroscience, which is a very specific topic. And she's a prominent researcher at INSERM. Then Arnaud Moreau, he is a social entrepreneur, specialist in social innovation and philanthropy. He notably developed the entire Ashoka network in Europe, which you probably know. Lastly, Jean-Marc Tassetto. Jean-Marc Tassetto is a digital entrepreneur. He is a specialist in education. He notably aided Google France, and he successfully founded Corp Academy, which is an e-learning platform. Second upgrade made to our organization, we found the need to differentiate the project managers from the selection committee members. Why? Because the project managers, we are 44 project managers, many of you are here. They are in charge of building their portfolio of charities in their respective educative segment with the help of Anna. And we found the need to hire a selection committee member team of independent and non-conflicted people that will give the final validation to approve the charities, to be sure that the charities we select are in line with the board strategy. So I am very happy to say that we successfully recruited the team of 6 persons that you see here, Taya, Nadine, Anjou, Jan, Georges, and Erwan. It's a great team. They take this mission very seriously, as do the project manager. They have high quality interactions in a very constructive mindset with the help of Anna, and they already had 6 selection committees, validated 14 charities, and approved more than 800,000 euros of budget spending. Lastly, about the selection committee, I wanted to point out the fact that Erwan is here. So if you have questions at the Q&A session, please don't hesitate. And Jan, who is coming from Morocco, I think, will come in a few minutes. So don't hesitate also, please. And lastly, wanted to point out the fact that we have a new assistant, Céline Maisonaz. She decided to give extra time to the foundation to allow all those meetings to take place. So on behalf of everyone, Céline, big thanks.
Well, that's quite impressive. You have great teams, this solid team, and also great organization. So what are the next steps?
Next steps, we have 2 principal objectives for next year. The first is that we need to be able to assess and monitor our impact. We need to be sure that the way we spend our money is the most efficient we can, and we need to materialize progress year on year. So to develop this expertise, we are working with Candice and her sustainability team that has developed this expertise already in Ardian. And we will be able, when we reach that goal, to answer 2 questions. First, are we, through our support, efficient in helping the charities to scale up? And second, are our charities efficient in effectively transforming the lives of our beneficiaries? So a huge question. Second ambition is for next year, professionalize our communication in all the forms. Thanks to Kenza, we will reshuffle the website and all the different communication forms for you, because you'll get access to more information, etc. Second ambition is to build an alliance for early childhood with other foundations to advocate in this field. It's powerful, and we are convinced of that. Third ambition, which already started actually, within France Invest, we have launched the Club Philanthropique. Jan Bach is the co-president of the club, which was officially launched a month ago. He's working with Yacine Outassou, and their objective in this field is to allow our peers in the PE industry to improve, develop their philanthropic practices, first in France, and you can imagine the next step will be Europe, of course. So thank you all. Wanted to thank you, all of you who gave time, who gave money. As you know, there are so many people in need that every little gift counts. So for this year, it's not too late. We count on you. Thank you.
Thank you. Great job, great presentation, and it's quite impressive actually what you have done, and a lot more things are to come. So all the best. Thank you. Thank you very much. So before we do introduce the next 2 speakers, I will have a mission for you today, because we wanted you to be actors of this event. So we'll ask you now to take your phones. That's the only moment that you can take your phones. And scan the QR code. You have it either on the screen or also on the chair. You've probably seen it. And we will be asking you some questions, sort of a quiz questions, through the event, and to actually know more about what you think, and also make sure that everything is understood. And do not please forget to fill out your first name and last name. Don't worry, this will stay here. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. but it's important because you need to validate that so that this is going to work. And you will see them appearing time to time. I will tell you when. You don't have to do it now, but you will have some selected times that I will actually tell you about. So you know all about the foundation now, and you know that it focuses actually on early childhood. We will now get more into details on this topic with Lynn Auchard and Géraldine Silinga. Géraldine, I will start with you. Why did you decide to focus on early childhood?
Yes, 1.6 million children live under the line of poverty. That means that in France, 1 in 5 children live in poverty. And we know that social inequality built during a younger age have an impact on academic and professional success. We also know that early childhood has a trampoline effect. Studies show that investing in high-quality birth to 5 programs for children can deliver a 13% return on investment for disadvantaged families. Last point to answer your question, early childhood is a key stage in child development. 85% of brain's development happens before the age of 5. That child development is based on strong interaction between complex brain mechanisms and rich and structuring environments.
We'll see a number now that will come up.
400,000 vulnerable children under 3 years old have no access to childcare.
That's actually massive. Are there any specific barriers?
Yes, there are. There are structural barriers such as rationing of places, criteria of access, as well as the lack of information, and the administrative barriers also leads to unequal access to childcare. And last point, we think that the importance of parenthood, especially with invisible families, needs to be emphasized.
Well, that's very interesting. So I will ask you, how did you, Lynn, decide to structure yourself within the organization?
Actually, what we chose to do is first to build actually long-term and strong partnership with French charities. So our first job this year was meetings, a lot of meetings with French charities who are acting in these specific areas. This year we picked 2 main charities. The first one is Maison des Familles. Actually, the concept is quite good one. They provide real homes where family can drop in whenever they want. They are targeting quite specific families, actually in high level of poverty, migrants mainly, based on anonymous basis, actually. The importance is that these families used to have a psychological and physical exhausted by their daily condition of living. And the importance that they have to be involved in the house on a day-to-day basis, but they are receiving a personal guidance and support. As of today, Maison des Familles have 20 different homes in France, and we're supporting 2 of them at Le Havre and Toulouse. The second one is headed by Ensemble pour l'éducation et pour la petite enfance, who is a great actor in France as of today. The assessment that EPEP done is that as of today, we have 77% of parents experiencing difficulties regarding their child's behaviors. And they are facing adversity to ask for help, mainly because of judgment. So this is the consequences is that they're suffering social isolation, and this is totally detrimental for parents and children. So EPEP wants to accompany adults in their journey becoming parents, to create links and a community through universality principle. So they pick to be based in poor neighborhood and trying to build and stimulate social, emotional, and cognitive developments.
Has actually this program started?
Yes, actually, I'm really happy because this program started this year. The pilot has been done in Arras, in the north of France. As member of the board of EPP, has the chance to visit this Maison des 1000 premiers jours, the first one. The ambition of EPP has been reached because in 2023 they will have 15 houses. And their ambition is to have near 2024 around 17,000 child, and this is quite good for them.
Well, that's quite a lot of information. How did you get to know about that?
Actually, as Matthias said, and Raphael and Adia will present also afterwards, we rely a lot on PSC, Paris School of Economics. We exchange also a lot with our peers because it's important for us to meet other charities, learn to know how they have built their actions. And now we are more focusing on the access of early childhood, of early childcare in France. So we have picked a really specific choice to join Lodine Kabuchia, who is a PhD in social research. And we will help her financially to lead this study that she's doing. So actually, she assessed that a lot of parents, especially for the first child, are really lost in this parenting action. What is the specialty of high CSE is that usually they have more resources, they know how to get the information, social networks, but also internet, which is not the case of poor neighborhoods and poor parents. They have no idea of costs, they don't know who to ask. There's a lot also of cognitive overload, house, money, furniture, so the application to childcare is not an emergency for them. So Lodine wants to highlight the added value of interdisciplinary approach to public authorities, which we think it's a great approach, especially in France, because we know how France is dealing with this kind of elements. So she wants to support parenting first, improve access to high quality childcare, and raising also awareness about the importance of high quality childcare services.
Well, thank you very much to both of you. That's very interesting to see that this is an important, actually, subject, and hopefully there will be more support about early childhood. Thank you very much. Great applause to you. And it's now time, actually, to get your phones back and get connected to the app with your smartphones. And we will ask you one question about early childhood, obviously. According to you, what is the biggest need? You were faster than me, actually. What is the biggest need for early childhood? Let's have a look. Education apparently is quite important. No screens, oh yes. Love and care, parent awareness, interactions, you go so fast, stimulation, support, affection, stability, parenting, love, security, language. You know, I did the same thing yesterday. You challenge me here. You challenge me. You go too fast. Very good. Parenting, security, support, and stimulation. Nutrition also. No violence, obviously. And discipline, of course. Thank you very much. Thank you. That's very important to have also your feedback on that. Medical care, I see also. Now, let's move on. You saw it, it was presented very briefly. I'd like you to welcome now the president of Milmo. And the president of Milmo will actually talk about these partnerships. This is a partner charity. He doesn't want his jingle. He doesn't want the music. So he comes already here. You are a partner charity of the foundation, and you are dedicated to childhood. The floor is yours. I leave it to you.
Well, sorry for the jingle, but I could take the additional minute, you know.
Oh, I see.
So
Smart.
it was not planned. So Well, it's a fantastic joy to be here today. And you know what is really exciting is we have, I don't think, not a single foundation that has such a line goal as ours. We are a group of people that 5 years ago created this charity, 1001 word, and with exactly the same belief, fight against poverty has the best chances to happen if we take the issue at childhood, even infant stage. There's a very famous Nobel Prize called James Heckman, who I wouldn't say this is highly, well, he tried to put some evidence that for $1 invested in early childhood, you get a $7 return on investment, okay? So we started with a lot of such scientific data points, and that's how we got together. One critical study that was instrumental in taking us down the road of Miniamo is the famous ABCDarian study, which was taken in the 80s with a group of children from very poor neighborhoods that got intensive childcare program between the age of 0 and 4. And then when put back into the normal public run, let's say, under qualitative educational system of their poor neighborhood of Chicago and Detroit, if I remember correctly, 30 years later, last measure in 2010, double the number of the kids from the group who went through this against the, the peer group had higher education. That's, I checked because it's 36% versus 14%. 67% had a highly qualified job as opposed to 41. 0% had coronarian health issue versus 25% for the peer group. So it's crazy. And that's how we decided to put all our forces on early childhood, and I will explain you how. The initial diagnosis that the best measure of the gap between a child for a poor family and a rich family at the age is entering a kindergarten, 4 years old, is the number of words he masters. A child from a, let's say, well-educated family masters around 1,000 words. Numerous studies across different populations have proven that. The numbers can be debated, but it's around 1,000 to 500. Therefore, at Minamo, we want to bring every child in kindergarten with 1,001 word, obviously. For that, we rely a lot on neuroscience. Progress. I don't know if Caroline Chevalier is here today, but we also draw a lot in our material and our work on neuroscience progresses that tell us what are good practices for parents to take care of their children early stage and for teaching them language. And I will start with a simple photo. Okay, this is a mother reading a book with her child, and you see she's not reading a book to her child. She's actively engaging with the child, encouraging him to pinpoint things. She's asking him questions. The child is super focused, and that's exactly the kind of method and technique we are trying to bring to the children. Okay. Now, what is our mission? We want to try to reach out to parents whose children cannot go to the crèche in France, so the childcare that can take place right after birth. Only 5% of poor families, that's the 20% poorest families in France, have their children in daycare. That means the parents can't work. The parents can't take a language class. They cannot get education, okay? So we thought, and plus the kids don't have access to the best care possible. We know the French care system is not bad. So we need to address these parents, because if we want to fight poverty, we need to go to the 20% poorest family and go directly to them. For that, we create a program that I will illustrate with a small video now. I think you can launch the video.
Bonjour, je m'appelle Lorraine, j'ai 26 ans, 3 enfants.
Je m'appelle Mariama, j'ai 27 ans, je suis maman de 2 enfants. Je reçois des conseils environ 2 à 3 fois par semaine. Ça peut nous parler des actes quotidiens de la vie, par exemple le moment du bain, comment échanger avec notre enfant.
Des conseils au niveau des jeux, par exemple utiliser des jeux de récup.
Ah bah ça c'est trop facile, c'est avec le couvercle.
Mes amis m'ont apporté des conseils sur le fait de parler deux langues. On se posait la question, est-ce qu'il faut parler une langue, deux langues? Est-ce que ça va perturber l'enfant? Est-ce que ça va jouer sur nos échanges? Ou comment ça va se passer au niveau de l'école?
Il n'y a pas besoin d'avoir 24 heures devant soi pour pouvoir utiliser ces conseils. C'est 5 minutes par-ci par-là, donc je pense que c'est faisable à tout moment.
quelque chose, Yann?
Par mille mots, j'ai compris que limite, même dès la naissance, je peux montrer les livres à l'enfant.
Avant, c'était juste tourner les pages, fermer le livre, passer à un autre livre, et puis voilà, c'était basta.
Tu as fini? Celui-ci, on l'a fait. Tu veux passer à celui-ci?
Je me sens plus détendue. Je peux tout faire en même temps. Pardon, je suis dans la cuisine. J'arrive à être avec Sidi dans la cuisine, faire la cuisine et l'occuper en même temps. Alors qu'avant, ce n'était pas le cas.
Ça m'a permis de penser à avoir toujours une petite solution, des trucs qu'on ne pense pas forcément à faire certaines fois. Et le fait de les avoir eus par SMS, bah, ça revient en fait au moment où on est dans la situation.
Tapez, petit oiseau a bien volé, petit poisson a bien nagé.
So I hope you enjoyed. Now, how do we do that? 3 pillars of our distance. So it's all remote. So the core of our program is remote. We search a little bit, but that's the best way to accompany the parents over a long period of time, which is the way to maximize our impact. So we send books adapted to the age of the child every 2 months, all by a speech therapist every 2 months to do prevention, to help the parents assess where they stand, what kind of exercise they want to practice. And then they get 3 messages every week with a small video, a theme. Of course, they can choose the theme. There is a lot of interactive way they design their program. And they will receive a lot of information on how to do small activities with their children, how to deal with pain points like giving them food, dressing up, going out, etc. Okay? Okay, I'm a little bit out of time, but we have so many testimonies like this. It's moving us every time we gather together. We have parents saying, "Oh, during COVID, you saved me. You helped me remove my child from his TV or his, his smartphone." And yes, they learn, they engage, and you know what? 60% of them they continue after 6 months the program with us. We're trying to bring up that ratio because, of course, that's our best measure for impact. We are obsessed, by the way, by measuring our impact, so we monitor a number of such KPI. We have done a first scientific assessment of this impact with the GPAL, which is the lab of Esther Duflo, the French economist who got a Nobel Prize. So she started to show first result. 20% of the families that were embarked with us have increased dramatically the frequency of reading to their children every week. We have a second survey plan in 2 years when we'll have a bigger cohort to show the impact of the 500 or the 1,000 word, etc. So that's another of our obsession, measure our impact. I've seen you do that at Ardian Foundation. It's a big ambition. For us, it's an obsession. We want to be scientifically grounded and measure our impact. And last not least, we want to scale. We want to go fast and scale. So we started with 0 5 years ago. We moved very fast to 1,000, then we structured ourselves to be able to accelerate this year and next year. So we doubled this year the number of family. We still want to double next year and double in 2024. And how do we do that? Well, we plan to do that through technology, and that's thanks for Ardian funding. We have hired a guy to develop our app and our web platform to interact with the platform. So technology is critical for us. That's the second pillar of our belief. To get scalability, we need technology, okay? Third, we work on our scalability permanently. Typically, the way we recruit children today is through the network of a pediatrician, public-run pediatrician, and there we get 95% enrollment rate with family. Every 9 out of 10 families that are proposed to be accompanied accept. So it's a huge rate of enrollment, and that's how we believe we can reach that recruitment level in the coming year. Now, last 1 minute, I want to insist on a very important cause, I think, for the Ardian Foundation, and sorry if I'm running out of time, which is, let's say, encouraging, helping the parents through advocacy, information sharing, to embark on all the services they can get in their environment. So you have La Maison des Familles, but I know that you want also to target, and we plan to do a specific communication plan with the family that are in the program to raise their awareness about possible option, even 1 day a week of daycare in a let's say in a charity, and help this family to, on top of Mille et un mots, of course, have more time for the mother to study, work, go back to work, and also socialize their children. For that, we did a specific survey. I would like to read you one specific quote for the survey we did last month, I think, for Ardian. It's a mother who said, since my pregnancy, I live in emergency housing, okay? We have only 1 room, and I wanted my daughter to go to childcare center. I don't know here anyone. I want her to see children. I want to have time to take French courses, to work again. She submitted an application to the public administration, but she had no answer. 18 months later, she found out that there was an associative center near to where she lived, where she could have. That should not happen. She should have more access to information. So our goal with Ardian is to add a, let's say, communication package to these families and try to find ways to inform them about what is happening in their community around them. I think I'm running out of time. So I would have much more to say, but thank you. Thank you for your support. And yes, you see, we need more of it to reach our ambitious goals. Yeah. And we are looking forward for long-term work with you, as I feel we are so much aligned on our goals and values.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, and congratulations. Very, very inspiring, very great job for Mille et un mots, 1001 words. Thank you very much. So it's time now to move on to the Q&A session. Please, if you are connected online, you can ask your questions within the chat box of Zoom. And if you are here in person, please don't hesitate to raise your hands. That will be actually very easy. Yes, you have, Matthias.
No, I was really astonished, surprised that such a number of people have no access to healthcare and creche. I was really surprised. I thought it was actually the exact opposite. You mentioned the case, which was just amazing. Why? Because everybody should have a contact at some point with the pediatrician. So why are not they directed? Because I guess the pediatrician is probably the first contact, or there are people that don't even have a pediatrician for kids?
Well, it's a tricky question. I would say that in France, there is still one asset which is amazing, which is the network of protection maternelle et infantile, PMI, which is this pediatrician network I was mentioning. So they are struggling, okay, because of financial constraint. So we believe that there is advocacy to be done to bring them additional funds, because it's an incredible dense network all across the country, funded by the department, by the small districts. But yes, what they lack today is means, resources, financial resources. There have been underinvestment in the réseau de PMI. And then pediatrician, well, it's another, well, it's about almost a medical school issue, you know. Pediatrician job has been decreasing, like they've been retiring massively and not replaced. So yes, we have an issue with pediatrician in France, I hear, but I'm not a specialist, but yes.
I think there's Lina would like to come up on stage. Is better actually. Keep the microphone to the lady. That's okay.
Actually, yeah. So I'm totally in line with what you've just said. Another lack is information, actually. and this is how we are working with Lodin for the research, the PhD, is that there is not enough information to in maternity especially, and we have to start from there, maternity, and give more information for the PMI to be able to receive people and to bring the information, especially for then access to childcare services.
Thank you. Can you give it to the lady? Thank you. Do we have other questions? Any other questions? You can ask any questions for all of the speakers that just went before Pierre. Yes, we have a question over there. Thank you. Would you like, could you stand up just that? Yeah, we can catch the, great.
Yeah, I had a question. So if I understand correctly, you are sponsoring currently approximately 45 associations. And could you elaborate on your plan? Are you planning to subsidize more? And in that case, or to be more focused and to allocate more money to some of them? And in that case, what is the link and how is the selection committee making the selection? What are the main criteria? And how many new associations do you plan to help each year?
Please. Anna, you will meet her later also.
Yeah. Okay, so from the first point about whether we will be adding charities or not, since we have taken a new strategic kind of turn and focus, there will naturally be more charities that will be added to the portfolio. But the objective long-term is to concentrate on strategic partnerships, and what we mean by strategic partnerships is charities that have the capacity to scale without losing the quality of the program that they deploy and the impact on the beneficiaries. And it's true that we also have charities that are community level focused, which is very good. I think particularly in the US, community-led initiatives are so important that we still want to make room for them in the portfolio. But in the long run, it's really going to be trying to strengthen and push flagship projects that have the capacity to reach all those beneficiaries that we know are in need, and the need will just keep growing over the years. I don't know if there was another element to your question. Yeah? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have other questions? Yes. No? Well, let's move on now to the following actually discussions. Thank you very much for your participation. It's very important actually. This is a moment that we can share. So do not hesitate we will have a second actually Q&A session afterwards. So let's talk about research now and talk about exactly research chair supported by the foundation with Raphaël Mulmanetan and Adia Kebe. So I'll start with you, Adia. What are the challenges of the research for foundation?
For a foundation like ours, research is key, actually, for three main reasons. The first one is that research allows us to have content and material to understand the societal needs on a specific issue. In our case, it's education. The second point is that research gives us the possibility to identify levers to tackle these issues in education, again, in our case. And the last point is that today, we all know that there's a lot of charities working on the education field. It's very hard for a foundation like ours to identify the right one to support over another one. So research is very key for us because it gives us the possibility to see, yes, this charity have done the research on this one. They have the possibility in their action to really impact the children that we want to support, in our case again. So that's very key for us to have research for the foundation.
Can you give us an example to illustrate that?
Yes, actually, the most concrete example that I can give you is ours as a foundation. When we decided to focus on early childhood, it was not natural for us because we were focusing on higher education at the beginning. And what we did is that we count a lot on Paris School of Economics' help to understand the needs on early childhood, to make sure that we were doing the right thing. And as Pierre Lefranc just said before, James Heckman Nobel Prize highlighted the fact that if you invest a lot of money in early childhood, it makes a huge difference in a long-term period of time for the children that you may not helping.
Well, that's very important, actually. Research is extremely important. I will ask Raphael. Actually, we obviously want to know more about this research chair. Why did you decide to launch a chair?
So actually, it was a collaborative thinking, and about this launching of the share, I would like to especially thank Carole as the president of the foundation, but also Amir and Jan in supporting the development of this share, but also for the innovative spirit in thinking about this share. So we decided to do the share for two reasons. First of all, to improve the understanding of the reasons why there is inequality in access to education, and second, to identify policies and action to reduce the inequality of access to education and thus have a better social mobility. In other words, to have researchers being able to discriminate between successful and unsuccessful public policies and action. And I think on top of that, there was another reason why we decided to do the share, is that, as you know, many, actually a majority of the employees at Ardian are from France, are based in Paris, and went through education in France. So it was also a natural way to give back to French education system.
And who did you actually choose to create this share with? I heard about PSC, and I heard about something called Depp. And to be honest, the first time I heard that, I said, are you working with Johnny Depp? But apparently, it's not the case.
It is not Johnny Depp, but it is nevertheless a great share because this three-way collaboration makes it extremely special. So when we started the share, we started working with PSC. So in other words, Paris School of Economics, which is one of the leading research centers, not only in Europe, but also in the world, top 5 in the world, with a very large number of researchers. And one of the very, very nice features when we started discussing with PSC is that they have a couple of shares already, but they did not have a share focusing on education policy and social mobility. And after we started discussing with them, they came back to us and they asked us if we would be okay if they bring up the DEP, which is the statistical department of the French Ministry of Education. And it was a great opportunity for the share because their job, their mission is to quantify the quality of education in France. They work with all the schools, with the teachers, they are in charge of the statistics. So it was bringing two major credentials to the share. First, access to data, which we know is always extremely important. And second, working with the French Ministry of Education was bringing a brand new legitimacy to the share. So we really think that this tripartite structure makes it special because it provides great research, but on top of that, as Adia was explaining, it will also identify levers for operational improvements.
Well, I would ask you also the same question. Could you give us some examples so that it makes it more concrete?
So figures. Today, there are 21 researchers linked to the share. They have been working on about more than 20 research papers that we can link to the share. I will not speak to you about all these different papers because it would be too long. However, I would like to say words about two different papers that I think are interesting because they bring an impact. So the first one is a study that focuses on girls in scientific class préparatoire, and it analyzes how the competitive environment is different or the same for female versus male. And what it shows is that one of the explanation of the underrepresentativeness of girls in scientific fields is not the academic level, but rather personal choice or self-censorship, which brings then a key to bring levels. The second study I would like to tell you about is a study run by Julien Grenet. He did a study on the how the grandes écoles have opened in the middle of the year 2000 to open to more diversity within the students. And he worked on a very lengthy study looking at social composition, geographic origin of students, and gender distribution. And the conclusion of this study is extremely meaningful and depressing to a certain extent, because it shows that despite the effort, inequality have not reduced. In certain level, inequality is even further than what they had in mind before the study. And to give you a couple of figures, in France, 3% of students come from the center of Paris. And in École Polytechnique, HEC, and École Normale Supérieure, 25% of the students pass their baccalaureate in Paris. So, so this is an extremely interesting study. And for those interested, Julien Grenet will come to our offices on November 23. So if you want to listen for 1 hour to the paper he did, you're more than welcome to join. I'm sure that we will send soon an invitation about this.
Well, last question to you, Raphael. In a nutshell, what should we remember about the work of the research chair?
So if there is one thing we should have in mind about this chair is access to data. Because researchers, to do their work, they need to have the best data to work on public policies and action to drive better education system. And what is really interesting is that in France, there was no way to link data from education with data from the labor market. And this is extremely unfortunate, because in France, we have the DEP department doing this great statistics. And then on the other hand, we have fantastic data on the labor market through INSEE and other institutes. And thanks to the share, one of the many projects is to create, it's one project to link the data from university to the labor market. So they will be able to analyze the trajectories of students, not only now through kindergarten, but all the way to school, university, but also their trajectory. So this is new. This is thanks to the share, and it will, I think, to come back to what I was telling you at the beginning, this tripartite share is very special because it will bring great research, but also operational improvement.
Well, thank you very much to both of you. That's a great overview of the research chair. Thank you. I'll try to call Johnny Depp. You never know. You know, he's trying to have another image. Oh yeah, I will, definitely. Let's move on now to another topic. And you know that the foundation is actually active worldwide. So we want to know more about this perspective, worldwide perspective of the foundation. And for that, please welcome now Anna Korik and Mathieu Labouche. Welcome to both of you. I was looking for guys when I first saw the script. I was looking for guy. You are the man.
I am.
I mean, one of the men. So my question is about finance. What about finance?
Yeah, well, let's take a deeper look at the numbers. So in 2022, the Ardian Foundation, thanks to the support of its 44 project managers, had a budget of 3.2 million euros, representing a 30% growth compared to last year. We partnered with 49 charities and reached 520,000 beneficiaries. France is still the bulk of the budget, with 1.3 million grants allocated to 21 charities, including 4 flagships. So in early childhood, this is Ensemble pour l'éducation de la petite enfance, that's monitored by Lynn and Geraldine. In primary education, it is Agir pour l'école, that's monitored by Emmanuel Miquel and Rafi Khalili. And in secondary education, we have Chemin d'Avenir that's monitored by Jean-David Poussin and Clément Chidiac, and Alliance pour l'Éducation that's monitored by Mathias and Anna. But beyond France, I think budgets increased in all Ardian's geographies where the foundation is present. For example, in the US, our budget increased to 520,000 euros versus 370,000 euros in 2021. We are now supporting 12 charities there versus 9 last year. To name some of the additions, I can mention Room to Grow or Dream Charter Schools that both broaden the scope of our initiatives in the field of early childhood and primary education. Furthermore, we were very happy to welcome 2 new offices in the foundation this year. So it's Zurich and Madrid. And thanks to these additions, the Ardian Foundation is now actually present in 10 countries. So as it has been mentioned before, we have put emphasis on the importance of early childhood. In 2022, we allocated roughly 700,000 euros to this cause, which represents a 135% increase compared to last year. To name some of the new projects, I can talk about ALUPS, that provides critical psychological support to mothers with young babies in Luxembourg, Omega Marie, who provides a safe and creative space for young vulnerable children in Switzerland. Nevertheless, it's important to note that we continue to support children and young adults through all our initiatives in primary, secondary, and higher education, as well as through our cultural and research projects like it was just discussed. And I'll let Anna present some of our projects.
Yes, what about the causes are getting bigger, higher? What about it, Anna?
Yeah. So as an example of a primary education project, we really wanted to focus on our historical partner, Couleur de Chine, that supports young children from marginalized communities to have access to education in China. So it started with basic literacy, getting a few young girls into classrooms to learn how to read, write, and count. And it's worth mentioning that before Couleur de Chine, there were no girls in classrooms in these areas where they targeted. And now they reach thousands of children, some of them going on to even do university studies. So over 20 years, they've helped more than 12,000 children, of which almost half have gone from nursery school all the way to university. Without Couleur de Chine, it's safe to say that thousands of children would not have had access to education, and thousands of children would not have social mobility. We progressively increased our support in tandem with their growth. However, our contribution goes beyond a financial grant. So Colin Wang, project manager for Asia offices, actively participates in the charity's board and strategic decisions. Concretely speaking, he's helped Couleur de Chine expand their fundraising capacity through key partnerships over the years. We're really proud to accompany this charity as they scale their activities, and we'd like to warmly thank Colin for his commitment to this charity.
Well, thank you to Colin and congratulations for that. And we said earlier, and you know that, the foundation is active on the topic of childhood everywhere in the world, including the US. So I'd like you to hear now Amanda Coleman, who talks about that for a project in the US. Let's watch the video.
In New York this year, we confirmed our commitment to Room to Grow, a nonprofit based in the Bronx, just north of Manhattan. This organization's strength lies in its ability to meaningfully meet the needs of low-income families with newborn children in some high-need areas. They use a holistic approach that both focuses on supporting the parents and the children. Families are enrolled in this program during the mother's 3rd trimester of pregnancy, and from there, families come into the Room to Grow Center every 3 months until the child turns about 3 for personalized visits. During these visits, Room to Grow offers parental coaching, community connections, access to medical support and social work support, and essential baby and toddler goods, which include age-appropriate toys, books, and clothes. These often equate to at least $10,000 in value throughout those first years of life. This offering is structured to empower parents to activate their natural strengths and expand their knowledge so that their children can thrive from the very beginning. Any kinds of adversity faced by parents and newborn children, be it lack of financial resources to acquire the right tools, time, or even knowledge for developmentally appropriate parenting, can significantly impact early childhood development, which we know is so important. So Room to Grow is focused on this empowerment, and in turn, we're seeing children in their programs reaching developmental milestones like fine gross motor skills, social emotional awareness, and communication skills at higher levels than families similar to them have seen in the past without the same kind of support. Our excitement about supporting organizations focused on empowerment rather than short-term fixes, sort of like what Room to Grow does, is what drew me to working with the foundation here at Ardian and joining Ardian as a firm. Rather than writing a check to support initiatives and being done with it, our emphasis on supporting organizations for the long term and supporting organizations in their commitment to long-term change through empowerment, and in this case, family empowerment, feels like a very sustainable way to support our communities in the long term.
Well, that really definitely helps us to understand the project Room to Grow, and I'm sure, Amanda, you're following us, so thank you very much for that. Last question to you, Mathieu. What's the budget of Ardian's Foundation for 2023? That's a very serious question.
Very serious indeed. So our ambition is to reach a 3.7 million euros budget for next year, of which 3.5 million euros will be for our charities. However, having said that, I need to make it clear that this is still a preliminary budget and that we still need to have the budget validated by the board in November. So we'll let you know if we succeed.
They're watching us, I'm sure.
I hope they are. So how did we build this budget? This budget was built in tandem with all project managers, course by course, country by country. By doing so, what we hope to do is co-construct a budget that is reflective both of what the project manager ambition is in his field, as well as align the strategic vision of Ardian's Foundation. So to demonstrate our long-term commitment to our partner charities, we today have 8 multi-annual grants, with, for example, one being Country Trust in the UK. So Country Trust is an initiative that seeks to emphasize the importance of savory-based learning about agriculture, nutrition, and animals. We have a two-year agreement with them of £90,000 per year, and we hope to reach through this 1,000 schools and about 26,000 children aged 3 to 5. So in 2023, we aim to allocate over 1 million to early childhood projects through the support of approximately 22 partner charities across the 10 countries in which the foundation is present. This would be a significant milestone for the foundation and a real achievement for the whole team should we be able to meet this goal. And with regards to other causes, well, I'm happy to say that budget will grow for all of them, thanks to the continued engagement of our project managers. And lastly, I want to finish by saying really a big thank you to Ardian as a firm for their continued support over all the years in growing this foundation.
Wow, I think we have great applause because that's quite impressive. And thank you very much, both of you. Very interesting insights and quite impressive, actually. I've worked for foundation, but this is massive. Thank you. Thank you very much. Let's now move on to our WooClap session. That's your new friend, so please take your phones. We have actually a question for you, sort of a small quiz. And we want to know what are the key takeaways that you are actually having from what has been said by Anna and also Mathieu, except the amount of money. We'll take just one moment. Oh, sorry, there are other things also. So in how many countries Ardian offices have an active engagement? 10? Let's see. Congratulations. But there are still some people that you have to come back. Do we have, yes, what was our budget for 2022? Let's see, 3.2 million. Yes, that's the case. Congratulations too. What share of the total budget will be dedicated to early childhood for 2023? You know, you see that moving. It's like gaming, actually. 1.4 million. Prognostics are open, and that's actually 964. Wow, that's massive. Thank you. Thank you very much. That's great. At least most of the people get the right answers, but there's still some information to give. I can see that. You can play the lottery, by the way. It's tomorrow or Saturday. Thank you very much, here at least in Paris. That's great. Well, thank you very much. We'll now move on to our last part for this annual meeting. And for that, I would like you actually to meet new two people, well, actually one that you have seen again. You will see her, Adia Kebe, and also Justine Le Guillou, and we will talk about engagements. Engagement is extremely important. Without your engagement, nothing could be done. So we would like to know, Adia, first question to you. What is actually the extent of employee commitments within the foundation?
Yes, the engagement at Ardian is growing, and we are very proud of that. Here are some numbers of the engagement this year. We have 282 employees involved at the foundation today, so that's huge. And we are also trying to monitor the days dedicated to the foundation by employees at Ardian. We did this job in France, and the idea is to do it also in the other countries. So in France, we had 114 days dedicated to the foundation by 41 employees, and again, that's huge, but it's not enough.
Okay, more and more. Well, Carol was saying that at the beginning, you are a full-time employee at the foundation today. How do you manage to do all this work? I mean, I've seen from the first moment I met you, and I understood that you were extremely efficient, but I mean, there is a lot to do.
Yes, I'm not alone. We are actually three, and we are also counting on a lot of project managers. So I take this opportunity to welcome the new members of the foundation team project manager. We have Aurea and Juan in Spain, and Aurea is in the room. So if you have any questions for her, she's here to answer them. We also have Christophe and Steven from the Zurich office who joined us this year, and actually they already identified a project to support this year, so they did a lot of work and very quickly. And we also have Sarah from Jersey office who's working with Matt, Chris and Delphine in the UK, operating the new project in Jersey.
Very, very good.
Yes, and actually, this is only 5 of them, but you understood that we have now 44 project managers at the foundation. So I take this opportunity to thank all of them. You can see all their faces popping up on the screen. So I take this opportunity to really thank them for their engagement at the foundation.
I know, I have heard about that you have also the possibility, everyone had the possibility to suggest some projects. How is it working? Justine, tell us about that.
Yeah, since 2016, we offer the possibility to employees to propose a charity that they support in their private life to the foundation, and that could be outside of the usual scope of the foundation. We know that most employees are involved in their private life in charities, and we wanted to give them the opportunity to bring them into work. So the idea is really simple. You have a charity that you already know and support, and and you can come to us, the Employee Charity Committee, to present your charity, pitch it. And once approved, you can start your fundraising to all your colleagues. So you can raise awareness to around your charity. But there's a plus. The foundation will match your donations to double the impact of the donations. So if we now look at numbers, this year there has been 18 projects for more than 265,000 euros raised, but we have still budget. So take the chance, as Katie Gilmore did in San Francisco. She supported the Susan G. Komen Foundation, which is fighting breast cancer. She walked 60 miles during 3 days, and she also raised $3,000. So once again, congratulations, Katie.
Well, Adia, what are the other types of actions that employees can suggest, actually?
Yeah, this year I wanted to highlight this year engagement by employees. The first one is that when the war started in Ukraine, we decided to do fundraising for two main charities that you all know, UNICEF and UNCHR. In only a month, employees raised almost 100K for these two charities, so that's huge. And the foundation, as you know, we have a matching program. All the funds that we matched for this initiative were donated to very specific and local charities working closely with refugees coming from Ukraine. Another example is was already highlighted by Anna, but Colin Wang, visited Danyan School for the first time, and as always, he's having discussion with children to empower them in continue their studies. So that's a good example of what we have the possibility to do. After that, we decided to organize with Alliance pour l'Éducation charity that is supported by Matthias, a school visit, a visit of offices coming from school children in Paris suburbs. So six team of Ardian welcomed them in our office, and almost all of them asked to do an internship at Ardian. So I think that you will need to prepare yourself to have them in your office. Another example of what you did is a lot of sports, a lot of sports. I'm already just tired about trying to count how many miles you did this year. We had a marathon, a half marathon, a triathlon, so that's a lot of fun. We had walking, running, cycling, etc. But all of this was for very good causes, so it's good. And we'll try one day to monitor how many miles you did for the foundation. So that's a good example too. And the last one that I wanted to highlight is the blood donation campaign that we did this year for a colleague of us. It was a very important project for us. We did a partnership with Les Emplaqués charity, and 44 employees at Paris donated the blood, saving approximately 135 lives, and I think that deserves an applause for them.
If it can help, I can join you to one of the races. I'll come with my husband.
You ran?
I mean, I would love to. Well, thank you very much to both of you. Stay with us because we have a last part to cover, but we want to give the floor to you. If you have any questions, it's the moment. Don't hesitate to raise your hands if you're actually in the room. Don't hesitate actually to also online if you have. I hope this is working online because I don't see anything except that the tablet is running out of battery. So go quickly if you want to ask any questions. Any questions? And within the room? Okay, we have no questions in the Zoom, but I do have actually one question, but I don't know. I was going to ask Raphael, but I don't know if somebody else knows. She had to go. Sorry.
But maybe I can answer if it's in the research chair.
Yes. How do you choose? Yes. Why not? Let's try. How do you choose your projects within the research chair?
Yeah, that's a good question. Actually, since it's Paris School of Economics that is very working on the identification of school that students that will prepare their research, we have not possibility. We don't have a possibility to say to them, we want you to work on a very specific project, for example, in early childhood. It really has to come from the PhD student in the topic that they want to highlight. The only thing is that it has to be in line with social mobility and educational policies.
Thank you. And I have a question actually about what you said earlier about suggesting a project, something that we have been involved in and probably suggesting it to the foundation. Can they see how invested I am? Can they actually suggest to work with probably a project that is not necessarily aligned with the mission of the foundation?
Yes, of course. The idea is you can propose any project. The only need is that it has to be a charity that is validated by the state. But apart from that, any charity can be proposed to the committee.
And if somebody wants to follow actually the other charities' activities, who can we call? This one question for you, Anna. Yeah, you would like to come here on stage?
Yeah, so if you have questions about any of our partner charities that we follow, I'd be more than happy to talk to you about it. Sorry, as you can hear, I'm a little bit sick. I would be more than happy to talk to you about our partner charities with the designated project manager in charge. We do follow them very closely, so please feel free to get in touch.
Great, thank you very much, Anna. Great. Well, thank you for those questions. And I would like you now to take your phones back again for one last time. And this is an important question, and I'm really serious about that. I'm saying that laughing, but I'm really serious about that. What does engagement mean for you? Could you write it down? This is actually very important, I think. Give back, time, hope, loyalty, sincerity, help. Give back, be aligned, commitments, solidarity, support, care, money, definitely, financing. Time is quite big, give back is quite big, and well, thank you very much. Meaning, connection, love, pro bono. Well, thank you very much. Thank you. I think you can give yourself a great applause for that. Justine, Ardia, you have a special message actually to pass on to the audience today. What is it?
I will start with the employee charity. So we're here for you. The committee is here for you. So do not hesitate to propose a project, organize an event. We have still budget, as I said. So do not hesitate to contact us and propose charities.
What about you, Ardia?
Yes, I wanted to tell you that you can still participate to the foundation and get engaged with us. What I want to tell you is that time donation is very, very valuable for charities. I think that Millie Armo can back me up on this. You can give time to charities. We are trying to find ways for you to participate. For example, you can be a board member of a charity the same way Lynn is. You can be a project manager of the foundation. You can participate to the different committees that we have that have a rotation every 3 years. So there's plenty of ways for you to give time to the foundation, so do not hesitate. And the other topic is that money, it's key. Let's be honest, it's key for charities and also for us. So we have the Click and Give app that you can use to give money to the foundation, to give money to the charities of the foundation. And even if it's not directly through us, just giving money to charities is very, very, very important. So do not hesitate to do so. And the last thing that I wanted to tell you about is that we will try our best to organize very small things in different offices for you to get involved. For example, in Christmas, we will have a toys collection for a charity that is giving those toys to children and families in need during Christmas. We will also organize small things like clothes collection, all of these things that makes a huge difference for charities, for the people that we want to help, and also for you, because sometimes you have way too much toys or way too much clothes and you can just give them to people in need. So that's a double impact.
Thank you very much. Message passed, actually. Thank you very much. Thank you for following us. Actually, this event comes to an end, but there's a lot more to go. Congratulations, because this is quite impressive, actually. And we have one last thing for those following us here, being with us. Thank you very much also for being with us. And obviously, we will call now the members of the foundation to come here up on stage for a family picture. Thanks again for the ones connected.